Hi. I'm sitting on a bench and I was just taking a walk. I've been walking a lot recently in preparation for this trip I want to do, but I was doing my walk and I was talking to myself in an accent, as usual. I don't quite understand why people get angry at others' happiness, specifically when someone doesn't conform to like societal norms. I kind of get the happiness thing, like they're jealous and they're not happy and they don't really have the strength to find their own happiness based on whatever life experiences that they have, or whatever's like deeply embedded, making them feel like they aren't worthy of that happiness themselves and that they can't get it themselves, because everybody can. Even though it's difficult, it's very hard, and it's easier said than done. I'm not taking away from the fact that it is difficult, obviously, otherwise we'd all be like, yay, happy rainbows. But one thing I specifically don't understand is but I kind of do understand, I don't know, like when you're talking to someone, I don't know about you, personally, the typical 9 to 5 have kids thing is just personally doesn't sound super appealing to me. It never has since I was a kid. I have had a fear of pregnancy since before I could even become pregnant. I always hated going to school. If I could go back now, I would pay attention and take in more knowledge, honestly, and take advantage of that. But I always hated the structure of having to get up early and be there all day. It always seemed like a big, I don't want to say big waste, because school is beneficial in a lot of ways, but to me it just didn't feel right to be locked in a building for most of my life. You know what I mean? I was like, no, I want to be out there. I want to be out there, even if I'm laying in the grass, we're playing in water. I want to be out there. This doesn't feel right. And I was really stuck with that. People would be like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I'd be like, I don't know. I have no idea. What do you mean? I'm a child. I always also found it strange that the second you turn 18, you're expected to spend all this money on school, and then that's what you do for the rest of your life, when in reality adults tend to switch careers. I think the average is 5 times in their life, which means it's quite ridiculous to expect an 18-year-old to pick what's going to be their life career for the rest of their life and then spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on it and be in debt. And no, it's just it always felt a little twisted to me. I always was like, does anybody feel like this is a little weird? So I never felt really motivated. There's other factors, pretty sure I have autism and ADHD, so I'm sure that was untreated and masked, and so there's other factors, but a big one was that. And I remember graduating and everyone being like, well, what now? And I was like, and that's not really a good approach either, because then I sat around and did nothing for 6 months and got super depressed, because I always thought I just wanted tons of free time and that would make me happy, but it's not. You still need things to fill your life, but now that I'm 22 now, so now that I'm starting to kind of get it, trust me, I have no idea what I'm doing still, but now that I'm starting to be okay, I can see you want passion, you want joy, you want things that fill your cup, you want your own recognition, your own validation, you want to follow what your heart and your is telling you and not what other people are telling you. I'm starting to get it. People don't get it. I swear to God, they look at you not everyone, and I'm not saying this happens all the time, I'm just saying in general, if you don't have a life plan, if you're not working 9 to 5, if you're not in a relationship, you know what I mean, people are like, what? And some get even angry. And I can understand another friggin' plane. Oh my god. My friend was telling me recently that she used to drive an hour to this airport and sit on a bench and watch the planes go over the water. And I was like, that's cute. You're cute. Anyways, I understand confusion and not getting it. And maybe I think there's 2 main things that I was thinking of today. Let me know if you think of any others as to why people respond this way. One being maybe someone has a lack of empathy or understanding, not being able to put themselves in other people's shoes, because something you need to understand is which you'd think people would just notice that everyone is entirely individual and different. Like, every single person that was ever born is completely and entirely unique. There's not another single person that is like that. And there are thousands, I don't know, maybe more than thousands of things, intricate things that make them who they are through the relationships they've had with their family, friends, romantic, platonic, their brain makeup, like just how they were born, the conversations they've had, the traumatic things that have happened to them, the amazing things that have happened to them, the fucking foods they've eaten, you know what I mean? Like, we are all the way that they look, down to like each follicle of our hair is all completely individual. So what makes people think that one way of living is going to work for every single individual? Like, that baffles me. That people are like, what do you mean you don't want to do the same exact thing every day, and like that I do, and like it doesn't exactly work for you and make you happy? Not hating on people that have 9 to 5s and want to have a family and kids, and like that's their dream. That's your dream, and I'm so happy for you, and I'm happy that we live in a society that like appreciates that and like claps for that and supports you in that. Not that it's perfect, it's not, it's still difficult, but you know what I mean? Like, so one thing is maybe people having like a bit of a control problem and lack of empathy, like wanting to be able to like control what other people do is a little bit strange, I think. I do it though. Not saying it's strange and I'm like judging people for doing it. I definitely have a control problem. Not like with what people do with their lives, but no, we don't need to talk about my control problem, but so like someone looks at someone else doing something and they like want to control it for some reason. They have some kind of control problem, and like also they cannot put themselves in your shoes and understand that you're a different individual whose life, who like their life, the way that they live their life does not fill your cup up. That I can understand. I guess I've witnessed that more. And I guess I've felt that for other people. Like, I've looked at people and gone like, how could they live like that? And I almost get sad. I'm like, oh, that poor thing. They must be miserable. But that's not even true. They might just be happy living like that, and it's just, I don't understand it. Fine, I get it. What I don't understand is like the anger I see in people when you're like, oh, no, I didn't go to college. No, I didn't conform. And they're like, what? What do you mean? You're gonna be miserable. And I'm guessing it could be partially like that was so hammered into their head, and it triggers them to see someone not do it because they did not realize that that was an option. It's just, to me, if I were in that situation, because it was really hammered into my head too, maybe not as bad as like the older generations, but and I saw someone break out of that and not conform and realize that it is possible to just do what you want and like follow your heart, and that's like a thing you can do, and that's a thing that should be done, because again, like I said earlier, we're all different. One way of life, one lifestyle is not going to fit everybody. Oh, little birds. I have a really good bird whistle. I've been really into birds lately. Anyways. I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, the really awesome thing about recording and not actually, like, the fact that I'm not actually having a conversation with someone is I'm recording it so I can just go back and watch if I forget something, because I always forget what I'm saying constantly. So I could just go back and go back and listen, and I'm like, oh, that's what I was talking about. So anyways, if I were to see someone, like if I was in like this 9 to 5 life that I like maybe wasn't necessarily happy in, and I were to see somebody broken out of it, I'd be like, it would be like an enlightenment moment, you know what I mean? And the only reason I say that is because like that's what I've experienced my whole life, is like taking those little moments where I would see people who were not conforming and being like, oh my god, it's possible, and like really going with it and being like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I suppose I think I figured it out a little bit. Okay, so people that get angry, I suppose maybe those times when they saw people doing it, either they like blocked it out because they were like, no, that's wrong, like I've been told I can't do that, or they're too scared to go against the people or society or, you know, everybody that says you can't do that. or maybe they didn't have faith in themselves or trust in themselves to like take that risk of not conforming, because it is a little bit riskier, right? Because again, there's less support in it. But oh, that's a pretty bird. And another plane. So then when they see like a real life version of it, right in front of them, everything that they've been told that they can't do, it's right here and it's being done. Even if it's not being done well, it's still being done, because that's like your reality. Well, like, even if you like don't have tons of money, and you, not that that is what makes you well, but like even if you're like eating just rice and beans every night so that you can maintain a different lifestyle that makes you happier, even if you don't have any job at all and you're just kind of like getting by, you know, you're in a transition period, you know what I mean? But it's still, anyway, that it's being done, especially if it's being done like really, really well, like you're super successful and you didn't conform, it's literally a proof that you didn't have to do that. And maybe that even conjures up feelings of, whoa, I wasted a long time doing what other people wanted and not what I wanted. And right here is an example that I didn't have to do that, because if it exists, it's possible. I think that's all I wanted to say. I just feel like I have more to say, but sometimes less is more. Okay, tell me what you think. Do you not conform to societal norms and get shit for it? Not that I get tons of shit for it. If anything, I mean, I get praise for it, but I definitely get people like, huh? Or like that think you're crazy. And I do think I don't know if it's more that like, oh, I just don't understand, like I could never do that, that looks horrible to me, or if it's more that like just not having faith in themselves to actually do what would make them feel fulfilled and happy, and realizing that they do have the potential and all the tools and everything that they need to have what they want. Just like a disconnect with themselves. And yeah, because I get that. I mean, I still have parts of that, big parts of that, you know, but I guess I just don't let it stop me. Like, I'd rather be scared that I'm gonna like fail miserably than like do the same thing every day and my soul dies, you know? You have to fail. Failing is literally like on your way to success, though, because like if you're failing, at least there's movement, something's happening. If you're not failing, you're just like staying in place. So you know what I mean? All right, that's a whole other topic. Okay, bye. I love you.